get started here in a second. All right. Houston snow for February. Man, you're asking a lot for me to predict that. I don't think that's possible. Early February looks like a cold trend for the east still, but could be moving back down to the south. Okay, close the door. You can come back and say hi in a second, okay? Good job. What's going on? What is going on? Wait, why does that sound? Why can't I hear myself? Check. Check, 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 check. Everyone gets, I love what you do. Everyone gets to me for loving weather. They don't know. MC, I feel the same way. Some people just don't understand. They don't understand the love for weather. Our 00Z Euro's loading. I have to say, not surprising that this storm is running off the coast. Fantastic nor'easter opportunity. Our issue is you've got that nice Alaskan ridge, which is allowing a lot of cold air downstream. We just don't have any blocking up here. You want one of these storm systems or fronts to stall out to allow that storm up the coast, and we're not getting it. We're not getting it. Now, we move forward here. We have another opportunity here. And actually, the latest Euro does see a little bit of snow, actually, up and down the Carolina coast. Outer Banks, maybe. But again, we were not getting... We're getting these systems that are just running off the coast. You see this air? Sometimes you get these troughs. They dive in. We have some blocking out to the east, and the cold air just continues to funnel down, and you start to get a stream of moisture. But these systems, this cold air is running right off the coast, and that just has to do with, well, this. It's not a negative, not a negative NAO. I mean, we've got a nice European ridge. Got a nice European ridge. I want a Greenland ridge to prevent these storms from running off the coast, and we're not getting it right now. Let's look at the latest GFS real quick here. Actually, I want to look at this from... Wow, it's a cold air. Wow. All right. Let's take a look at the latest GFS. Giving Ohio over 4 feet of snow. I mean, like near the end of it, right? Yeah, I wouldn't pay attention to this 250 hours out. We could see this setup. I mean, this gives everyone 4 feet of snow, basically. I mean, if you were to look at this, you know, this gives this entire area basically 4 feet of snow. But the odds of this happening aren't very high right now. But, you know, something like this is possible. Let's go back here and let's take a look at... Let's run through this. These unseasonable warm weathers are a pain in the Coriolis. I don't know where you are, but it's been once January is over, it'll likely January and December will likely end up being colder for the entire eastern U.S. or at least a good portion of the eastern U.S. out here. So it's not really going to be an unseasonably warm winter for the east. It's going to kind of be an unseasonably cold winter, at least through the first 2 months of winter out east. But it's going to be pretty warm winter out west, especially down in the southern plains towards the southeast. All right, let's take a look at this. Here's the latest GFS. Here's our trough moving in tomorrow. We get a little bit of snow flurries moving through the Great Lakes region. Lots of cold air diving into. Beginning to dive into the south. We'll take a look at our temperature anomalies here in a second. I was supposed to be back home yesterday, but I had to delay my flight, so that's why I wasn't back yesterday. What's going on, Brandon? Dalton, what's going on? Dallas, no chances went up. Maybe at the end of this run. Getting snow in the southeast is like the atmosphere trying to guess a lock combination And they can never get all the numbers right. Yeah, pretty much. Pearly, I appreciate you. But yeah, here we go, diving down. This is going to be some good snow for the Appalachia mountain range and Appalachia down here, though. A little bit of snow there. Nice snow for potentially Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, upstate New York, Watertown. Some good snow maybe up into the mountains of Vermont, New Hampshire, and then inner Maine. Could we get some back-end snow flying out towards the coast? Yeah, but don't expect any big accumulations. Maybe a dusting to an inch out there towards the mid-Atlantic and New England coast. I would say watch what happens down here, though. It's cold air and moisture down here. Someone's going to get some flurries down in the south here. Someone's going to get some snow flurries. Maybe a dusting down here, I think, even though it's not showing up. We're warm out west. Ridge beginning to build. This is good and bad. Allows for a lot of, like I said, downstream cold air. But if you don't have blocking out here, that downstream cold air, you know, we're not going to get too much moisture out east. We need a little bit of blocking so our frontal boundaries can stall out and allow that southwesterly flow of moisture. So having one without the other can be tough sometimes. Continuing to move forward as we get into Thursday and Friday. Another kind of trough begins to dig down through the northern plains, and we start to get some more snow. Right out here, upper Midwest, northern Ohio Valley, Great Lakes region, some more snow. Not a lot, but a little. And you could also see some flurries out towards the mid-Atlantic and New England coast here as we get into this weekend as well. Why? Because the 540 line is way down here to the south. Plenty of cold air for snow. Just not going to be a ton of moisture out here. I'd watch this again. You're starting to see a little bit of snow flurries showing up. You can see them right in here. Seeing the snow flurries showing up. Someone's going to get some flurries. Someone could even get maybe a half inch if you get lucky with some banding. A little bit of some of this moisture flares up a little bit more. So watch that. You see what happens. The GFS and Euro both see this. Man, I hope this trough moves in a little bit farther to the west than they're thinking right now, because there's still an opportunity for this thing to become a big snowstorm for the south and up the coast, almost like a nor'easter type system. Models are trending it offshore. Once again, a fish storm. Lots of snow for the fishies, none for the people. But GFS and Euro do see this system beginning to tilt, maybe putting some snow down through the Outer Banks and then portions of maybe down to Charleston. Let's watch that closely as we get into this weekend, as we get towards Sunday. And then look at that. See how this storm begins to tilt? You have a nice snowstorm right off the coast. Unfortunately, that's how, I mean, we need the blocking. We've got the cold air. We've got these troughing systems digging. We've got moisture down here in the Gulf and Western Atlantic, but you need some blocking out here to really allow these systems to dig and tilt up the coast. And we're not getting the blocking out east. It's a negative NAO, but it's not negative enough. All right, we push out towards Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Here's where it stays kind of fun, because you're 540. You've got this nice northwesterly flow, and cold air is going to continue to barrage the east likely as we push through at least through the next week or two of January. So again, you see moisture moving up here off the Gulf, out over the Pacific, or out from the Pacific. Lots of freezing air here. Could something happen again here, southern snow? But at least we have some chances lining up here. So I'd say that's a chance there. And then, yeah, you can see what happens here. This would be a mega snowstorm for portions of the Central Plains, Midwest Ohio Valley. And this would kind of turn into a nor'easter as well. I mean, this would be big storm. Big storm if this happened, obviously. Everyone gets feet of snow. But, hey, 250 plus hours out. We're not going to hold on to that too much just yet. You continue to see the opportunities for southern snow here through Tennessee, the Carolinas, and then maybe another nor'easter style system at the end of this run. Again, end of the run. But if you take a look at what the Euro sees, let's go to our Euro 12Z. It's favoring cold out east. It's favoring moisture out east. You get towards the end of the run here, maybe some good snow for the Rockies on the Euro. This storm doesn't quite make it all the way out east on the Euro. You see this? It's a big storm for the central to northern plains, upper Midwest. And it's just a big rainstorm out here on the Euro. So who wins, the GFS or the Euro? We'll see in a little bit. But then right after that, that runs out, and we're back into a cold pattern out east once again. So, favorable wintry pattern out east. The question is, can we get a serious negative NAO? Because again, if we don't have blocking up here to the north and to the east, if we have no blocking out here, we can continue to feed cold air. We can continue to get moisture here. But these storms are going to form off the coast. They're going to form here. All our snowstorms are going to form off the coast. We want them to form over land. So we're going to need some help with our negative NAO moving forward here. But at least if you want a cold pattern ahead for the East, you've got a cold pattern. The second half of January is going to be, on average, cold throughout the rest of January if you're in the East. Let me get to answering some questions. Marissa, what's going on? Gemini, what's going on? Leanne, I know there's a lot of people. Let's see. Emmanuel, what's going on? Brandon, Dalton. All right. Upper Midwest doesn't need any more snow. Well, we're right at about our average around Minneapolis. We might be a little bit below our average now because we got a lot of snow in December. We haven't had any really in like 2 weeks. Not much, at least. Actually, we had that right in the beginning of January. I lied. I lie. Let's look at our snowfall departures real quick for anyone wondering. Here's the above average and below average snow for the season. I'm going to get to answering all your questions now. If you're in the blue, you've seen above average snow. If you're in the red, you've seen below average snow. Although, once you get down here, it's, once you get down here, a lot of these places don't really even average any snow, maybe, or an inch or two, if. So, it's really from there north. But yeah, so red below average, blue above average. So, Midwest is still doing pretty well. As you can see, though, Minnesota, upper Midwest, most of the state, slightly below average. Wisconsin's doing okay. Iowa's still above average. Big winner, Central Illinois. Look at that. Virginia. I mean, the Mid-Atlantic, believe it or not, Philadelphia to New York City and Long Island, you guys are actually slightly above your average snowfall for this time of the year. It's going to change shortly, though, so you need some more snow there. All right. What is poppin'? Oh, and sorry. I know I keep saying one more. I know I keep saying I'm answering questions. I did forget I wanted to show this. Temperature, 6 to 10 day. I promise this is the last thing. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. We're cold in the east. We're warm in the west. Here's your 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Very La Nina look, but still, for the most part, I mean, we're cool throughout most of the country. Central to southern Rockies, that's tough. Central Plains, southeast. Here's our 3 to 4 week temperature outlook. For the most part, the cold's favoring this region here. Obviously, throughout the next month. All right. Here's a month. There's a month. You see? All right. Enough of this. Let's get to questions. We do have some snow flying through New England right now. Some storms going through Missouri. I want snow so bad in eastern PA. You're going to have plenty cold enough air out there. Look at all this cold air out there. I mean, here, your temperature anomalies. Look at our temperature anomaly. Let's look at our 7-day temperature anomaly. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the east. This is our temperature anomalies just all the way out until the end of January. From now until the end of January. Ready? Yeah, we're cold out east. So you're not going to not get snow because of a lack of cold air out here. If you don't get it, it's because we don't have the blocking out east, like I said, and we don't have the precipitation. Cold air is going to be here for us. Will it snow around the 14th, 15th? In Hampton, VA, I heard chances went down. So, like tomorrow. Here's what the National Weather Service thinks about snowfall over the next 72 hours. Here's the high end amount. If you get really lucky, West Virginia could get a lot of snow if you get really lucky. Hampton, thinking maybe if you get lucky on the high end, you could get a ½ inch of snow over the next 72 hours. Low end, you might end up getting nothing. Sorry, I got to get back here. Why is it not showing that? Let's go back here. Here you go. High end. High end for Hampton, ½ inch. Low end, expected amount, nothing. Here's the high end. Snowfall potential over the next 72 hours from the National Weather Service. Emmanuel, come on. You knew I'd figure that out in a second. Northern Virginia, D.C. is cold but no snow. Yeah. We've got a very cold pattern ahead. You guys want to see how cold? Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Temperature anomalies here. I want to show you something. Right here. This on average is the coldest day in the year. Coldest day of the year for the Northern Hemisphere. So temperature records could be broken here. Temperature records could definitely be. I think there's a real possibility we get all-time low temperature records somewhere in here. There you go. I'm gonna really have to listen. I took 4 to 5 days off streaming, so give me, just hang in there with me. This right here is this right here is 15 to 30 degrees below average. Okay, we could see temperature records broken in here. Actually, let's take a look at this really quickly. Daily records, minimum daily records. Let's see. Do we think any records are going to be broken out here? Not really. Let's go to max temperature daily records. The West could probably see some of these. Yeah, you can see some out west here. Wow, I'm surprised. Are we seeing any potential records broken out here as we get towards the 19th? All right, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the GFS. Let's take a look at what our actual temperatures could be. Let's take a look at the wind chills here. Quickly into the central U.S. Here we go. Here's wind chills. Getting down to around negative 15. Minneapolis. Look at that. Negative 30s, negative 45 wind chill. Iowa, negative 10 to negative 15. This is as we get into Sunday. Look at this. Chicago, down to the negatives with wind chill. We get into Monday, Tuesday. Lots of negatives up here. It's not making it too far south. Now, this is what I'm talking about right here, though. Okay, so this would probably set some records. Wind chills of negative 20 degrees in St. Louis, maybe negative 10 in Nashville. So our temperature anomalies get pretty crazy out here, but it's pretty far towards the end of the run. Imagine this, like negative 25 degrees in St. Louis. Imagine this, your actual temperature in St. Louis being like negative 18 degrees. That'd be pretty wild. We'll see if this happens kind of towards the end of the run. Kyle, what's going on, Kyle? I appreciate the $2 super chat.
That 18Z model needs to be drug tested / snow.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you, Kyle. Seriously. Thank you, man. Yes, the GFS, guys, is giving a crazy amount of snow, but most of it is near the end of the run, which means most of it is La La Land snow. But, yeah. Wouldn't this make a lot of people happy? What do you guys think? I feel like this would make a lot of people happy. 60 inches of snow into Columbus, Ohio. Anyone in Columbus, Ohio here? Anyone in Columbus or Cincinnati or in that region? Because the GFS thinks you're going to get 30 to 60 inches of snow. I don't think you will, but oh my God, 50 inches of snow in Indianapolis. This would be a record-breaking storm. Anyone in Pittsburgh? 75 inches of snow. This is this is a little bit wacky. I think we should look at the 10-to-1 ratio. Even that. But look at it. Most of the snow isn't even coming till after 220-hour mark. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that yet. And you can see what it does. I'll show you for fun what it's doing out here near the coast. Just for funsies. 2 feet of snow in Philly and New York City and Boston. Odds of this happening aren't very high, guys. It'd be pretty cool, though. Hey, it's not 370 hours out. It's only 220. So you're saying there's a chance, maybe. 250 hours. Something like it. That would definitely be one of the biggest storms of the century. If this GFS ends up. And look, subtropical jet activating as our subpolar jet collapses here. This is a realistic situation. I just don't think it's going to be this aggressive yet. Yeah, this will put crazy snow into Buffalo, New York too. Laddie, what's going on? What is our... Okay, so our European sees a version of this too, right? So let's look at our European version of this. Our Euro has this system though. a little bit, you see it has two systems a little bit farther out to the west. What does the European model do with snow here? I want to see this as well. Yeah. Just buries portions of the Midwest here, especially the upper Midwest. Again, towards the end of the run. What's the Canadian do? Do we have 3 globals seeing this wackiness at the end? All right, what's the Canadian lining up here? Interesting. The Canadian kind of has the setup beginning as well. Look at the stream of moisture here and look at our jet. Yeah, I mean, the Canadian sees a little bit of craziness beginning to happen here as we get towards January 23rd. That's as far out as this model run goes. What's the European AI see? Let's take a look. Who's looked at this one? Let's go to our 12Z. Oh, wow. Yeah, European AI. Big snow there. Virginia, North Carolina. Take a look at our GraphCast. I want to take a look at everything. GraphCast. Does our GraphCast see this craziness as we get out there? It's supposed to be our good model moving forward. Does see that chance for a little bit of snow out towards the coast, the Carolinas. Sees all that cold air out east. Now, does the GraphCast see... yeah, look at this. This would be a nice storm, too. This would probably be a nor'easter style storm right here on the GraphCast. Right there. Push back a little bit. This would be a big snowstorm for the Midwest. New England. All right, well, I mean, the models see a very active pattern ahead, guys. Cold air and a lot of snow. But again, most of the heavy snow, we're not seeing till the second half of the model runs where they start to get a little bit more sketchy. They're not really sure what's going to happen there. So these model runs are really exciting to look at, but a lot of the fun stuff doesn't start happening again until let's wait a few days before we get super hyped on any of this stuff. As much as I know making a post about this right here on X could probably get me a lot of views, I'm not gonna. How does Iowa look for snow these next 2 days? Next couple days, here's the expected amount in Iowa. Not much. North and eastern Iowa, maybe 1 to 2 inches. If you get high end, you get lucky. Des Moines could get 2 inches. You go up towards Mason City all the way down to Davenport up to Dubuque, maybe 3 to 5 inches on the high end. But expected is not much. I'd be happy getting 2 more inches in Columbus. Yeah, Dalton. Imagine the GFS is right and it actually gives you like 60. Do you still predict there will be a nor'easter in January or at some point? I still think we're going to have one this winter. We've been in such a drought. We've had opportunities again this winter. This is what's happening 2 days from now, Thursday. This is a fantastic opportunity. Look at this low pressure system running up the coast. Cold air, all this moisture. But your tilt is not really happening until right there, right when this thing gets off the coast. Here's your negative tilt. The storm system's just off the coast. It's tough. You get another opportunity right here. Still an opportunity here for one. We push out in these model runs and you see maybe an opportunity here as well. So, yeah, you see an opportunity here. There's like 4 more opportunities on the GFS. So, again, some of the biggest snowstorms, some of the biggest nor'easters in history have happened in late February to early March. Because that is sometimes when you get a little bit more tropical moisture up into this region too. So, you know, too much, like one of the issues I see happening here is this ridge is very strong out west. So we have so much cold air moving down into here. You're going to get too much of a cold, high pressure building out through here where we can't let that moisture in. What allows that moisture to come in again is when you get a blocking and your front stalls, and then you get that tilt, and then finally that warm Gulf moisture can run up the coast. Still good opportunities ahead here. I'm not too concerned. I'm still confident in my nor'easter prediction. Maybe even 2. Not changing it. Can't make me change it. The model saw this. I talked about it before I went on my trip, maybe 5 days ago. super confident finally, because there was a ton of ensemble consensus in the very negative EPO, big Alaskan ridge forming, and you can see here it's going to happen. So all this cold air the models did really good on. So they struggled. The model struggled in the beginning of January, but they did really good all through December, and it looks like they're going to do good here at the end of January as well. How confident are you in southern snow? I'm pretty darn confident. This is just so much cold air consistently pounding the southeast. So I don't think we get out of January. And so remember at the end of this, it was like December 22nd or 21st, and we saw this big warm ridge coming into the east. And I said, I don't think we get out of December without a little bit more snow in the mid-Atlantic. We got more snow in the mid-Atlantic like December 29th. So that happened. I don't think we get out of January without southern snow. Without snow, at least in somewhere in this region. I don't think we get out of... yeah, I think we get snow somewhere through here before we get out of January. There's a chance it happens twice. So Houston could possibly see snow. Houston's tough. I don't know about that. Houston is... I mean, we were just talking about... You can see what the Climate Prediction Center is seeing, and I kind of agree with it. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. 3 to 4 week temperature outlook. Month outlook. I mean, you want to talk about the place that's going to be burning up specifically. Well, you look through this region, the Southern Plains and then the Southwest this whole time, struggling. Really struggling with that warmth. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm just here to report the weather. I don't make it. Hamilton, Nancy, Laddie, I appreciate you guys. Oh, the thing. Air Dancer. I love that thing. I gotta heat up. Wait. I got heat up so hot, like Hawaiian volcano. Then it must freeze everything up. Snow White. I don't understand what you asked, Thunderbird. Mods, what's going on? I appreciate you being in here. What do you think the chance New York City will get more snow next week? I think there's I want to say there's a 90% chance New York City gets some more accumulation in before the end of January. Probably a couple snowstorms, probably a couple clippers if you don't get a nor'easter up through that region. Probably a couple clipper systems. I'm rooting for this for you guys. Everyone gets buried in snow. This is like 3-inch an hour snow right here. This would be just wild. Why does it say no snow but 13 degrees? Well, when it's too cold, you typically got that cold core high settling in. If it's too cold, there's a lot better chance for it to snow when it's between 26 and 34, or I'd say 24 and 34 degrees than if it's below. Wait, couldn't connect. Yeah, there's a lot better chance for it to snow if it's between 24 and 34 degrees than if it's under 24 degrees. Once it gets too cold, it's difficult for moisture. It's difficult to get those snowflakes to the ground. Sometimes they just evaporate in the upper atmosphere, and sometimes, again, you don't have any sort of fuel for these storms to produce any snow. Look at that GFS. Yeah, I know. This GFS is going absolutely insane. It's like saying 3 feet of snow through Illinois. Literally 3 feet. Like 4 feet of snow through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, PA, New York. It's New England. It's just doing crazy things. Crazy things. Will Louisiana get snow on January 25th or 26th? No idea. No one knows if Louisiana is going to get snow on January 25th or 26th. The pattern looks cold for Louisiana, so that's not a bad opportunity. So that's not a bad time frame to potentially get some flakes down there. You know? Destiny Hamilton, I appreciate you. Too dry in the lower atmosphere. Yeah. You want a little bit of a warmth near the surface. Mid layers. Yeah. Once you get down into the teens, single digits, snow chances actually just aren't that good. I looked at the snow totals. It said 65 inches in southwestern PA. I think it actually said 75 inches, just to correct you. I think it actually said 75 inches. Let's see. Yeah, 80 inches. Sorry. Yeah. The GFS thinks Pittsburgh is getting 80 inches of snow over the next 10 days. You guys think they'd cancel school for that? Hey, anyone in Pittsburgh, would they cancel school for 80 inches of snow? What do you think? Aiden, I appreciate you. Yes, I think so. Yeah, Dallas looks warm. Dallas looks warm. And could get a decent amount of precipitation here over the next 2 weeks, but probably not snow. Probably not snow. Man, I might stay up late tonight to release my video for tomorrow morning. Probably not going to go live tomorrow morning. Probably going to do an evening stream again. This stream's going to be shorter. I just got back from vacation. I go back to work tomorrow. I had to go back to work a day later because my wife's sick. Have been watching the kids a lot. So lots to get caught up on. But I might stay up late tonight so I can get my video out so you guys can see the video with all the updated European GFS and everything going on with these snowstorms. Early tomorrow morning when you get up, maybe I'll post about like 6 a.m. Yeah, I'm not going to stay. I'm going to get off. This is going to be a short live. I've already been streaming for 30 minutes. I was just going to do a 35 minute live because I have so much to do still tonight to get ready for work tomorrow. But I will have my video up tomorrow very early. I'm planning on making it once the 00Z Euro loads tonight. I'm going to make the video and I'll post it at like 6 a.m. So if you guys want to wake up, listen to it while you're ready for work, I'll talk about everything in that video. Our snow chances through the next 10 days here. You know, temperature anomalies, all the fun stuff, and get into our outlooks. Yeah, no? All right. Before I get off, I'm going to do super speed to try to answer everyone's questions as quickly as I can. Let me go to our European ensemble here. Let's do this. No, we want surface winter. All right. What's going on? Georgia snow, please. Central to northern Georgia does have a chance for snow here over the next 2 weeks. You'll be up? I bet you will, Emmanuel. Atlanta, there's a window here. Atlanta's going to have a good chunk of days here in the next 2 weeks where you're going to be well below freezing. Again, it's just going to be is the moisture available there for snow. I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta saw some flakes flying. I think you probably will in the next 2 weeks. The question is, can we get some accumulation in Atlanta? It's possible. Same with Charlotte. I expect Charlotte to see some flakes flying here in the next couple of weeks. We want some accumulation that we're going to need. A little bit more blocking out to the east. Allow some of this moisture up into the southeast with that cold air. Meet up with the cold air. Do you think it's possible for Cincinnati to get a decent amount of snow? Yeah, holy crap. The 4th week of January is looking crazy for the Midwest. We'll see if that confirms. I'll go over that in my video tomorrow morning when we take a look at the ensembles and what everything's seeing. Just like we saw this really, really, really strong signal for a negative EPO that's now verifying. Really, really amplified Alaskan Ridge. I'm hoping we start seeing a strong signal for a negative NAO just as strong. So we'll see. Stevie, I appreciate you. Those upper states got frozen. We actually just thawed out all our snow. We've had snow on the ground here since like December 4th up in Minneapolis, but it's been a lot, then a little, then a lot, then a little. We hit 44 degrees here in Minneapolis today, but we're going to be freezing through the next 2 weeks. So still a little snow on the ground, but we did just go through a little bit of warmth. Do you possibly think we can get snow in New Orleans? It's always possible. It's going to be tough here over the short to mid-range, though. You're going to probably see below freezing air at the surface in New Orleans sometime over the next 2 weeks, though, so not impossible. Really cold pattern for the east here, like I said. My backyard is mostly mud. Yeah, so my backyard, because it's facing away, the way my house is facing, my backyard's still all snow, but my front yard is just little patches of snow. Because my backyard's in the shade all day. How does Iowa look for snow over the next 2 weeks. Not too bad. Look at the ensembles. I like the confidence here on the ensembles. I'll pull up the GFS ensembles here so you can see what the GFS is seeing. GFS is probably going to be a lot more. What the heck? Sign in. I am signed in. 1 second, guys. Weird. GFS ensemble is probably going to be a lot more aggressive with snow out east and in the south. Let me pull this up here so you guys can see the compare and contrast. Yeah. Okay. So here is the GFS here. Look at that confidence through Kentucky. Look at the confidence in North Carolina on the GFS. This is like pretty confident in snow in North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee as well. Obviously, lots of confidence in snow up in this region, some in the Rockies, but you can see this is where these models like the snow. The GFS is really, really trying to put snow down here in the south. All right. These dark grays is an opportunity. So the GFS is trying to get snow into the south here. Any snow for North Alabama? You'd want to lean towards the GFS. The GFS is favoring some higher confidence in snow in northern Alabama over the next 2 weeks. 18Z Euro, Virginia, January 17th. Well, I'm not going to go back and look at that, but I'd say there's a chance for. Yeah, I mean, I know what's happening during that time frame. Our jet is still collapsed beneath Virginia. We're going to have the cold air. We're going to have moisture just off the coast. Possible we do get some snow, especially in eastern, I'd say, Virginia during that time frame. Philly snow. Well, you can see the confidence. Look at these Euros. Dark blues through Philly and New York City. Almost purples. Now that's snow depth, but on the ensemble, that's just, you can look at that as confidence. So pretty confident in snow here over the next 2 weeks. Returning to the mid-Atlantic, including Philly. Yep, New Jersey isn't getting snow. Well, let's take a look at something. Well, the majority of New Jersey has seen above average snow so far this year. So if you're in New Jersey, and I'm not counting far southern New Jersey, if you're in central to northern New Jersey, if you're above this line right here in New Jersey, so here's northern New Jersey, I'd say 80% of the state is running above average on snowfall. So if you're in New Jersey and you're upset about how much snow you've gotten, move to a different state because you're actually running above average. So you're actually doing good this year so far. And that's, you know what I mean? So now southern Jersey, yeah, you got a little bit screwed. A little bit screwed. Jersey City, a little bit screwed so far. Most of the state's doing pretty good though. But no, New Jersey is in a pretty good pattern to get more snow. You might actually be luckier the farther out you are towards the coast. The way our jet stream wants to dive out east or really throw our storms off the coast. Snow chances for Tennessee tomorrow? Interesting question. Let's see high end. Yeah, I mean the the National Weather Service gives on the high end gives us a chance for a little bit, maybe an inch from Kingsport down through Knoxville, up in the mountains here. I mean, for the most part, if you get super, super lucky, I'd say a dusting to a half an inch in Tennessee. Unless you're far out east, maybe you get a little bit more. This is high end. This is the expected amount for Tennessee tomorrow. As you can see, not much. All right, say hi to stream real quick. Say hi, stream.
Hi, stream.
Hi, stream.
I don't have to say the safe part.
Yes, you don't have to say the say part. Good job. Oh my God, he remembered. Yes, you just have to say hi, stream. You don't have to say. You guys remember how every time I say hi, stream, he goes, say hi, stream. He just said, I don't have to say the say part. After all this time, he gets it. Fine. Yeah, Carolyn, finally. Don't have to say the say part. Oh my gosh. Guys, okay, I'm going to be posting. I'm going to have a full, probably 10 plus minute video. Post it by, I'd say 6 or 6:30 tomorrow morning. Of all of the updates. Okay, snowfall updates from coast to coast over the next couple of weeks. The rest of our January outlook. Beginning of February might still be cold out east. We'll talk about snow in the short term, snow in the long term, severe weather. What our winter's looking like moving forward here, okay? I got to get off. Long day of work tomorrow. Back at it. I appreciate all you. Steve Antx, Hamilton, all my mods. You guys are awesome. I will be back tomorrow. And I'll try tomorrow to do an actual, we'll say hour and a half stream in the evening. Getting back towards a little bit of evening streaming. But I'll update you in my Discord. If you want to join the Discord, Connor's Climate Corner HQ. The link to my Discord, and I should have added it into my live stream, but the link to my Discord is in the description of all my YouTube videos. So, awesome weather community in there. All the weather information you need, and I'll tell you when I'm going live. Everyone, have a great night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. It's good to be back. Thank you, mods. And I'll see you guys later. All right. Peace.